The biggest change that we see at a family level is the flexibility in a daily schedule. No longer do we have to have milking at set time, morning and afternoon, or they had tried 3 times a day for about a month and stopped that pretty quickly. We have in-laws that are a good half hour, 45 minutes away, and we don't have to rush away from there if we're there for a meal. One time we stayed till 6:30 in the evening, which we never did before when we milked more in the 4:30, 5 o'clock range. And we can get to activities in the evening, whether it's friends or school or church or whatever, and be there by 5:30, just by rearranging what needs to be done, feeding, cleaning stalls, and collecting the 1 or 2 fetch cows that we have to make sure they go through. The biggest thing we've noticed so far, we went from milking twice a day in a tie stall barn, and our average milkings is 2.7, 2.8 milkings per day. All of our fresh animals are over 3 times a day. We would have 2-year-olds hit about 100 pounds every once in a while in our previous facility, but it's not uncommon at this point for our 2-year-olds to easily hit 100 pounds. I would much rather train a 2-year-old in the robotic system than to deal with some of the picky ones up in the tie stall barn. In 2 times a day tie stall barn, if memory serves correctly, might have hit 150 pounds as a top cow. We've had one hit all but 180. I think it was like 179.5. We've had quite a few that have gone above the 140, 150 range. So the cows definitely are able to hit a higher peak. Average in the tank is probably 5+ pounds, maybe up to 10 pounds more than what we were. If we were going to do a parlor, we were going to have a hired person, which there's nothing wrong with having a hired person, but we would have had a strict schedule. And what we found with our situation, if we went with a parlor and 1 full-time person, our payments would have been about the same as putting in the robot. Consider it prepaid labor, just moving it to a different part of the expense columns. But it's basically the same layout or daily cost, whether we went with a robot or with a parlor, and that depends how many bells and whistles you wanted in your parlor and a lot of variables there. But for us, it was pretty much the same cost. Yeah, management of the robotic system is definitely different than how we treated our herd in the tie stall facility. We basically fed a 1-group TMR. We didn't do any top dressing or anything. We just aimed for what was in the tank with a little bit of a lead feed, and that worked well. Here we can tailor the ration because of the pellets that they're getting when they come to milk for each individual animal. But it's still based on a group level. It's not necessarily that you program the cow 436 gets so many pounds. It's based on her production. So the system takes care of that, feeding each cow. We're able to give the grain to the cow that's putting more milk in the tank. So we're able to have a better return on that last little bit of grain, that marginal grain that we're feeding. We also can cut back on the tail end cows. It's easier, or I've found it to be easier to dry cows off in the robotic system, because we can go in and say, okay, you cannot come 4 times a day, you can only come 3, and back them down. And also their feed that they're getting is backed down on a feeding scale as they're coming close to dry off. So most of the cows have slowed down, getting them dried off right again is not a problem. But just the overall management, it's a combination of A, seeing the cows when you're in the barn, and B, understanding what the reports are telling you at the computer. I'd say the adjustment time there was a couple different phases. We made it through into about day 3, and then about 3 weeks we had another milestone, and probably about 3 months. And after that, probably about 6 months was another milestone. At that point, most of the cows had started to calve in. And as cows, maybe they didn't, if they were late in lactation, they learned the system. They knew that that's where they got milk. They knew there was feed there for them to eat. They didn't have the urge to come by themselves right in the beginning, in the first couple months. Dried them off, and they had no problem within that first couple of days starting off all by themselves as starting a new lactation. The cows are just calmer. They're not all chased at once to go to the parlor. If we want to go and just get 1 or 2 cows, whether it's to collect them for the herd check or for the breeder or bring them to the robot, whatever the reason is, we don't have the whole herd getting up out of their stalls and going. We can go and collect 1 or 2, 4, 5, or 6, or whatever it is. We have things set up. We can swing a gate, and one person can take care of going to get a few cows separated. So that's real nice, because I had worked in a larger farm and 500-600 cows, freestall and parlor, and when you walked into that area, they were all getting up because they were used to getting chased to the parlor. So cows can come on their schedule. You know, whoever said that every 12 hours or 3 times a day or whatever time the milking schedule was, that was always based on people pleasing their schedule. So it's nice to see the cows come, and they do come. Fisher and Thompson's done a good job keeping the robots running. As with probably all new technological things, we had to get a few bugs worked out right in the beginning just to get things working the way we thought, whether it was our own personal issue of how to use it or whatever, but we got things up and running. Yeah, my robots have been treating us well. Parts are lasting, and I did not see a Fisher & Thompson employee between my November and March regular scheduled maintenance for any breakdown or service work. And one of the biggest things for me in the adjustment period was learning to feed the cows properly so that the robotic system works. So that was one adjustment. Another adjustment is the schedule adjustment. It's definitely a bonus, but there are also times where you can get a phone call at 2 in the morning or whatever, and you've got to come and take care of an issue. Being open-minded, we visited quite a few farms in the process to come up with where we were going to go, and the one said to us, and we found it to be true, that you have 3 neighbors, and one's tie stall and one's freestall with a parlor. They don't agree on what's the best way to handle the herd, because freestall is the best or tie stall is the best. And I'm not going to say robot's the best, but it's working well for us. It all depends on how you want to manage your cows, manage your time, and work together with that.